This fender's got a frick ton of exhaust in it. I'll probably end up exhaust wrapping all this. Does anybody know at what temperature fiberglass melts? So you saw in the last video, we got the 4-inch fender exhaust part done with the loud valve. So now the plan is to get the 2.5-inch part ran and up under the car. So I'm out here tonight, and I got a few parts from, I was waiting on a few parts. So I got a 2.5-inch V-band and a flex joint, one of the little flexi guys from Amazon. So that came in. So I'm out here tonight, and I'm just going to try to get this fender back off and then try to mock some stuff up. I'm not going to do a lot of work tonight. Just want to try to get this thing planned out so in the morning I can come out. Tomorrow will be Saturday, so I'll get out here early and get working on this thing. And hopefully we can get the 2.5-inch part built, and then we can see how much that quiets the car down, and then figure out all this other stuff. So really excited, getting close to the car. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep this channel growing, and we'll keep at it. Garage is tight, but I'm hoping I can get this fender off with the exhaust in place, because that would be cool. And then here's my 2.5-inch V-band I got, and my little flex guy I got. The plan is to do the V-band off of here, and then we're just going to run the 2.5-inch straight back. And then I don't know if I'm going to do the flex on the vertical part or after I turn down there, because I definitely want to get this exhaust so it'll be a tab to this bar to hold it nice and strong so it's not up by the tire. And yeah, we'll go from there and see how this thing turns out. I've got all the bolts out of the fender, but it won't come off with this thing sticking out with the turn and everything, because it's kind of hung up here. So eventually this thing is going to get cut off flush, I believe. I don't know, we'll see. But because I really want to be able to pull the fender off without having to mess with the hot side. But that also means I don't want to pull it off right now, because then I won't know where this thing wants to go, because I want to make sure I leave it intact. So I'll give my pipes and stuff and kind of Sharpie mark where I think that needs to go, and then probably turn the front wheel and make sure it's going to clear everything. Alright, so that's the front tire turned all the way to the right. So you can see back in there, it's kind of hard to see, but I got plenty of room for a 2.5-inch pipe. So now I just got to decide on my routing, because I'm almost thinking we're gonna go like so. We'll just tap in like right there and just run it straight back under this bar, and then do a 90 down into the corner. That's what I'm kicking around. Not 100% sure. I know this is hard to see. Tomorrow I'll get the fender off, maybe. And then but I think if we shoot her right like that, say like that, we may have to come up higher. I need to turn the front tire the other way, because I know it gets close up here too. So let me go turn the wheel the other way, since I'm pretty good in the back there, and we'll see how we look. So here's full lock the other way, which I still kind of think that might be too close when I hit bumps, but hopefully I never have it turn that sharp when I'm hitting a bump, right? That means I'm doing something wrong. But I also got this 45, so if I need to I can cut shorter. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do a lot of thinking on it tonight, and then get out here in the morning and start cutting stuff and fitting stuff. And hopefully by the end of tomorrow we can fire it up and see what it sounds like with a single 2.5-inch exhaust. And current plan is V-band it right there, a little straight piece V-band, and then we'll do a 45, which that's really hard to see. That's some nice filming, ain't it? But so we'll V-band it right here. We'll have this guy pointed back so it goes to the back corner back there, and we'll try to keep it where it's as high up as it can be, but still aimed at the corner. That way we'll get as much clearance around the tire as we can. And then we'll just do a 90 and call it good. So we'll see. I'm going to be really mad if I end up having to redo this because I ain't got enough tire clearance once I start hitting speed bumps and such. But anyway, that's going to be it. We'll get back on this thing tomorrow. And that way I can roll it out and get it out of the garage. And get it up on some jack stands. So before I do any of this welding, I also want to get under there and make sure there's a good spot for the muffler. Alright, so it's the next day. And the plan is to back the car out, get it up on some jack stands and do some welding. But got to get some leaf blown. Hopefully it rained a bunch. The hurricane came through last night. So let me get all these leaves blown out of the way and then we'll back out the car. Alright, got enough of the wet leaves blown out of the way, so now we're gonna get this thing backed out. Alright, so we got it back up on jack stands. I put that ramp backwards because I'm going to be working right there. Don't want to be getting around the ramp. So let me go dig out my exhaust and my muffler and start doing some figuring. That jack stand might be in the way. Well, dang. Anyway, let me go check. Alright, so this is the old exhaust I had on it. I had a cutout on it before too, but it was a manual cutout. And this was just like the straight exhaust. I had two of these. One on each side. This time I'm just going with one. Gonna get a little more complicated because my Ford link rear suspension, because I'd like the exhaust to come out right here, but I have that there. So I don't know, we're gonna do some looking and figuring and see where we can tuck this thing up, and that'll be my speed bump tester, I guess, because it's probably gonna be hanging lower than anything else on the car, so it may look bad. So we may revisit. Might actually eventually take it to like a professional muffler shop and get them to do something, but we'll see. So my plan is up here. We're gonna use this 45. So I'm gonna get this marked where I think I need to drill the hole. Then we're at a little piece in the V-band right there. And then this will go just back to the back and go down right through there. I'll tuck up in the corner as close as I can. And so yeah, let me get this off. And I noticed in my last video you never really got a good view of my beautiful mild steel / stainless steel hot side. So I'll get that pulled off once I get it marked, and then we'll drill a hole and weld a little flat piece, a straight piece, and a V-band, and we'll get going on this thing. So here's my ugly welded 4-inch loud valve. Have an exhaust. So right now I've got the loud valve unhooked so I can just open the valve. You can see the valve in there. So this thing's supposed to be fully open. It's about 6 pounds of boost. Hey, I missed a spot of welding. I gotta fix that. Anyway, so this is where I'm gonna drill and put in a 2.5-inch V-band. And I actually went ahead and marked for my wide band too. So my wide band will go right there if I don't lose that. So yeah, we'll get this drilled and a little straight piece in the V-band there. We'll get this welded, and then I gotta go back and fix this because I missed some spots, and that's ugly. That's uglier than I remember. But anyway, as long as it holds together, I guess. All right, got the 2.5-inch hole saw. Got a mark. I'm gonna figure out how to hold this thing and then get that drilled. All right, first roadblock. So my hole saw does not like stainless steel at all. It just dulled all my teeth on my hole saw. So I guess I'm gonna have to grind this, the cutoff wheel. Let's go get ugly. I guess it'll match my welds. Anyway, let me figure out how we're gonna get this hole cut, because this ain't gonna cut it. All right, so I got the old cutoff wheel, got the hole cut. Gonna clean that up a little bit, and then we're gonna take, where to put it? We're gonna take, I lost my pipe. We're gonna take this guy. I'm gonna go get him shaped up so he'll fit there nice with hardly any gaps. Actually, it'll be this end. So I'm gonna do some grinding on him so he fits there nice. And then we'll cut this off so it's only about 1 inch or so. And then we'll get the V-band welded on this guy, get that guy welded on there, hang it back on the car, see how it looks. All right, so we got that stuff ground so the gap will be nice, so it'll weld decent. And then all right, so we got this thing beveled, so it'll good. So now let me go get my V-band and see how much I need to cut off this, which I think I'm just gonna make it about 1 inch, and we'll go from there. All right, so got the 2.5 inch V-band welded on, and got the wideband bung welded on. So this stuff's really hot. We're gonna let it cool off, then we'll put it back on the car, and then we'll start chipping away at this thing till we can get it back to there. And then we'll see how she sounds with a single 2.5 inch. And then the plan is, you know, when you're under boost, the loud valve will open up. So I should have the best of both worlds. I'll have the old man quiet, and then I'll have the 4-inch dump when I need it. All right, so got the fender back on, so you can kind of see how the 4-inch comes out, and then the 2.5 will be right there. And then this guy is going to go right here, which I got to trim it down a little bit and get the V-band welded on it. So it'll go right there, and then I'll probably go down and do a 90, and then on that down part of the 90 is probably where I'll put my flex joint. That way I can kind of move my muffler around how I need to. But yeah, let me get this thing trimmed off a little bit, and then I'll get a V-band on it, and we can go from there. All right, so it's starting to take shape. Got the 2.5 inch, got the V-band, got to aim that way. Now I just want to make sure I can get it tucked into this back corner here, so we'll keep at it. I've cut some 90s. Probably need to find one more 90, I think. But I'll look and see what I have. I might have to get the muffler out from under the car and cut the end off of it for the extra 90 I need. But we'll try to get it tucked up here first. All right, so I went ahead and pulled the fender back off so I got more room to work. So there's the 4-inch, and then there's the 2.5 inch coming off. So I got to do my best to get it tucked up in the corner over there, out of the way of the wheel. So we'll see what we can do. All right, so here's what we got going so far. We got the V-band, a little 45, some straight, about a 30 degree. It's a 45, I cut down some, and then another 45, and it goes down there. And then the plan is to do a 90 to go under the frame rail and then out. So yeah, so I'm gonna, the only bad thing with it being up on the ramps, I can't turn the wheels to make sure it's not gonna hit, but it's behind the wheel, so I don't think it should ever, I don't think the wheel should ever go backwards even when I turn it, right? So I think it's gonna go by it. Anyway, this fender's got a frick ton of exhaust in it. I'll probably end up exhaust wrapping all this. Does anybody know at what temperature fiberglass melts? I may have to find a metal fender after all for this side just to keep it from melting. But anyway, we're gonna give this a try and see. And but pretty happy. You know, this is all scrap 2.5 inch I have that I've cut up from the exhaust that was on it. So it's kind of nice that I'm actually piecing it together, not having to have a whole bunch of little pieces so far. So now we'll get up under the car and start getting these 90s figured out and figure out a muffler hanger And then hopefully by the end of this, we'll be starting this thing up with single 2.5-inch exhaust. So we're making progress. V-band, section, goes down 90. Then under the car, the 90 goes into a little flex joint, goes into the Magna Flow muffler, and then out. So I'll have to add a little bit to the tailpipe there. But it's all tacked in, so I'm fixing to pull this out and see if it falls apart. Final weld it, throw it back in, hook up my loud valve so it'll stay closed, and put in my O2 sensor, and see what it sounds like. So check out this exhaust. So I've got it out of the car, getting it welded up, and then we'll stick it back in the car. So I gotta find my glove. I lost a welding glove. Do you see a welding glove? There it is, found it. So let me get the glove on, and then we'll keep welding on this guy. All right, so finished up welding that, so we're just gonna let it cool. And while that's cooling, I'm gonna get the fender back on. And I went and hooked up my loud valve back up. So now the valve is closed, and it'll all go out the 2.5-inch. And I got my wideband put in, so hopefully I can get that plugged in, see if it works. And then, yeah, hopefully by the time we get the fender and this thing back on, it's kind of a pain to get to the V-band when the fender's on. But once we get this back on, hopefully the exhaust will be cool enough to put it on, and we can fire her up and see how she sounds. Well, that was kind of dumb. So got the fender and the 4-inch on. I don't know what I was thinking. There's no way that thing's gonna go in there with the fender on. So let me take this bag off. We'll get that placed inside the fender, then put it back on. All right, got fender back off. Got it back in there. So we'll see if I can get all this together. I might have to break down and buy another V-band, you know, just to be able to bust it loose down there or something. But we'll see. All right, so the old man exhaust is done. Got the 2.5-inch, and then it goes down and out, and then underneath, which I don't know, and then underneath, we'll see if I have any issues dragging that thing, but it's just a little bit lower than my drive shaft loop. And then there's the exhaust, which I need to extend a little, but I had to move the main power cable too, so I gotta get down there and get that stuff fixed. But we're fixing to fire it up and see how she sounds. All right, so there it is with the 2.5-inch Magna Flow. It's much quieter. No leaks. Don't feel the exhaust coming out. So it's definitely a lot quieter. It'll be better for driving around in the neighborhood. Still sounds pretty good. I always like the Magna Flow mufflers. But yeah, so making progress. It might be leaking a little, which everybody says they may leak a little at idle, but it still sounds pretty cool. So yeah, let me shut this thing off because I still ain't got a radiator in it.